Welcome to Agentic Workflows the Money Series, Episode 10, Your First $1,000, the 30-Day Playbook.
We're getting straight into the deep end today.
Yeah.
No theory, no fluff. This is all about execution.
And look, we have spent a lot of time on this deep dive, discussing the potential of AI. We've done the philosophy, we've done the 5 years from now predictions, the flying cars, the AGI, all of it.
The societal collapse or utopia, depending on the day.
Exactly. But today is different. We are looking at a stack of sources that are, well, they're all screaming one thing.
That the opportunity is right now.
Right now. It's immediate.
Yeah.
It's tangible. And the source material we're diving into, it frames this in a way that actually, it made me pause.
Oh, yeah.
They call this potentially, and I'm quoting here, one of the largest wealth transfers in human history.
Which is a huge statement.
It's a huge statement. And, usually when I hear that phrase, my mind immediately goes to like a crypto scam or some kind of marketing hyperbole.
Or drop shipping.
Drop shipping, exactly. Someone's trying to sell me a course.
Right. Your skepticism meter should be pegging red.
Yeah.
It's a healthy reaction to have.
It should be. But as I went through the notes for this, the logic is it's surprisingly boring.
In a good way.
In the best possible way. It's not about magic internet money. It's based on this concept of the arbitrage window.
Right.
So break that down for us, because usually when I hear arbitrage, I'm thinking finance.
Right. In finance, it's super simple. You buy gold cheap in London, you sell it for more in New York. You're just exploiting a price difference between two markets.
Okay.
Here, we're not exploiting a price difference. We are exploiting a competence difference, a knowledge gap.
A knowledge gap.
The source calls it the AI overhang.
The overhang. That sounds a little ominous.
It kind of is, but think of it like a graph. You have a bottom line, right? And that line represents the general public's perception of what AI is.
Yeah.
What is your average accountant or your dentist or the owner of the local HVAC company? What do they think AI is?
Chatbots. It's ChatGPT. You ask it to write a funny poem, maybe summarize an email for you.
Or a cover letter that sounds a little bit robotic.
Yeah, it's a novelty. It's a toy.
It's a toy. Or maybe a really, really smart search engine. That's the perceived value.
Yeah.
But then you have the top line on the graph, the reality line.
And that's different.
It's worlds apart.
Yeah.
This is where the technology actually sits today. Not GPT-5, not some future model.
Yeah.
We're talking about the models you and I can access right now.
Like Claude 3.5 Sonnet or GPT-4o.
Exactly. These models can do autonomous reasoning. They can write and test their own code. They can execute really complex multi-step workflows.
So the gap between it's a toy that writes poems and it can actually run a business process, that's the overhang.
That is the arbitrage window. And it is massive right now.
Right.
Businesses are just drowning in administrative friction. They know AI exists, they know it's powerful, but they're trying to, drink the ocean through a straw.
They're just copying and pasting text into a chat window one paragraph at a time.
One paragraph at a time. So the entire goal of this 30-day playbook is to stop being a copy-paster and to start being an architect.
That's a really key distinction the source makes, this shift from chatbot to agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like agent is becoming a bit of a buzzword, so maybe we should define it rigorously before we try to, make any money with it.
We have to. This is the core mental model you have to adopt. If you don't get this, you won't make a dime.
Okay.
Think of a chatbot like a genius consultant who is tied to a chair in an empty room.
A very smart hostage. Got it.
A very smart hostage. Exactly. You can walk in and ask them anything. How do I solve this physics equation? Write me a marketing strategy. Translate this into French. And they'll give you a brilliant verbal answer.
But they can't do anything.
They have no hands. They can't open a file on your computer. They can't send an email. They can't log into your CRM. They are static intelligence.
So an agent then is?
An agent is that same genius, but you've untied them. You've given them a laptop and an internet connection.
And in the digital world, the hands are tools.
The hands are tools.
Yeah.
The ability to browse the web, the ability to execute code, the ability to hit APIs. An agent is dynamic action. It doesn't just tell you how to do something.
It does it.
It does.
The source used a great analogy here, the caveman and the spear.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
A caveman meets a saber-toothed tiger. If he has nothing, he's in trouble. He has to scramble. That's us trying to do everything manually.
Right.
But if he builds a spear, a tool, he leverages his own strengths. LLMs are the brain.
Okay.
But the tools, the scripts, the APIs, the webhooks, those are the spear.
So the agent is the brain using the spear to solve a problem.
Exactly.
So the whole premise of this money series then is We're going to build spears for businesses that are still trying to punch tigers with their bare hands.
That is a very visceral way to put it, but yes. And here's the kicker.
Okay.
You don't need to replace the human entirely. This is where people get scared or skeptical. They think, well, AI can't do my whole job, so it's useless.
Right, the all or nothing fallacy. Like, if it can't drive the car from New York to LA without me touching the wheel, it's garbage.
Exactly that. The source calls this horizontal leverage. We are not trying to automate 100% of a software engineer's job. That's not the goal.
So what are we trying to do?
We're trying to automate the 10% of drudgery across 10,000 different tasks.
Okay.
Data entry, scraping, filtering, that first initial outreach. If you can automate that little sliver of work, you are generating massive economic value.
Okay, so the mission for this deep dive is clear. We have a literal 30-day roadmap. We're going to walk through it week by week. The promise in the source material, though, is that this is no code. And I want to challenge that immediately because I'm looking at the notes. I see Python, I see IDE, I see API. That sounds a whole lot like code to me.
It is code. There's no getting around that. But the distinction is who writes it.
Ah.
The promise isn't that code doesn't exist. The promise is that you don't need to be the syntax expert. You don't need to know where the semicolon goes. You need to be the manager.
So you're the foreman, not the bricklayer.
Precisely. You tell the AI, build me a tool that does X, and the AI writes the code. But you still need to know how a building stands up. You need to know what a brick is.
Fair enough. All right, let's start the clock. Week 1, days 1 through 7. This phase is titled Setup and the Hello World of Money.
And days 1 and 2 are all about the environment. The source calls this the cockpit.
The cockpit.
And honestly, this is where 90% of people quit before they even start.
Because it looks scary.
Because it's the black screen of death.
Right.
If you've only ever used a computer to browse Chrome or maybe use Excel, opening a code editor feels like you've hacked into the matrix.
It's intimidating.
It's incredibly intimidating. But we have to move away from the browser chat window. You cannot build a business in a ChatGPT tab. It's too ephemeral. You need an IDE.
An integrated development environment.
Yes.
And the source lists a few options here. VS Code, Cursor, and something from Google called Project IDX or Anti-Gravity.
Right. VS Code is the industry standard. It's what, 99% of developers use. It's fantastic. But for this playbook, the source heavily leans towards Cursor.
Okay, why Cursor specifically? What's the advantage?
Because Cursor's a fork of VS Code. It looks and feels exactly the same, but it has the AI baked into the DNA of the editor itself.
It's not a plugin, it's native.
It's native. You can hit Command plus K and just type in plain English, write a script that opens Google and searches for pizza. And just happens. It writes the code right there. It lowers the barrier to entry so much.
It's designed for that kind of pair programming with an AI.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so we download Cursor, we open it up, we are staring at the black screen. Now, the source gets very specific about the filing cabinet. It says you need a really strict folder structure. Why does that matter so much? Can't I just dump everything on my desktop?
You could if you want your agent to hallucinate constantly and fail.
Okay, so probably not a good idea.
Probably not. But remember, an agent is like a new employee. If you dump a new employee in a messy office where papers are everywhere, invoices are mixed with lunch menus, mixed with tax returns, and you say, get to work, what happens?
They're going to fail. They have no idea where to start.
They'll fail. They need context. They need structure. Yeah. And this is why the source recommends what it calls the DO framework.
DO. Okay, let's break that down.
It stands for Directive, Orchestration, and Execution. And this is the secret sauce. This is how you stop the AI from just making things up and you make it reliable enough for a real business process.
Okay, start with D directive. What is that?
The directive is what? These are just markdown files, simple text files that act as your standard operating procedures, your SOPs.
It's just English.
Just English. Imagine a document that says, here is how we scrape leads. Step 1, go to this URL. Step 2, look for the contact button. Step 3, copy the email address. It's exactly what you would tell a human intern.
So no code at all in the directive?
Zero code. Just clear, rigorous, natural language instructions. You are documenting the process first.
Okay, that makes sense. O is for orchestration.
Orchestration is the who. This is the AI agent itself, Claude, Gemini, GPT-4, whichever one you're using. The orchestrator reads your directive, the SOP, and it plans the work.
It's the project manager.
It's the project manager. It decides, okay, to follow these instructions, I need to write a script that does this, this, and this.
And that leads directly to E, execution.
Execution is the how. And this is the absolute critical pivot point. The execution layer is code, usually Python scripts. The orchestrator doesn't just think about doing the work, it writes a Python script to actually do the work.
I want to pause here because this feels like a really big concept. Why can't the AI just do it all in its head? Why does it need to write a script to scrape a website? Why the extra step?
That is a great question, and it comes down to one key difference: probabilistic versus deterministic. LLMs are probabilistic. They are creative. They predict the next most likely word.
If you ask an AI to sort a list of 10,000 names alphabetically in its head, it might mess up.
How?
It might hallucinate a name like Aaron Aardvark just because it sounds plausible, or it might skip a few or get the order slightly wrong. It's just not built for that kind of perfect repetition.
It's trying to be a poet when you really need a librarian.
Exactly. But a Python script is deterministic. If you write a sorting algorithm in Python, it will sort that list perfectly 100% of the time in milliseconds.
It never gets tired. It never gets creative.
It just executes. It's reliable.
So the orchestrator, the AI, writes the execution, the code, to ensure that reliability.
Yes. The execution layer is like the guardrail on a bowling lane. It ensures you hit the pins every single time. You use the AI's creativity for judgment, like, is this a good lead? But you use code for the heavy lifting, like, go to this URL and download all the text. Got it. Okay, so days 1 and 2, we have our IDE. We have our folders set up, a directives folder, an execution folder. And there's one more file mentioned here that sounds important: the .env file.
The .env, the keys to the kingdom.
Why is this file so scary? The source material has big, bold warnings all over it.
Because this is where you keep your API keys. To use these powerful models, Claude, OpenAI, Gemini through Code, you aren't using the $20 a month chat subscription. You're using the API.
Which charges you per token, per word, basically.
Just a utility bill. You pay for what you use. And that key, that long string of random characters, is essentially your credit card for that utility.
So if you accidentally upload that file to the internet, say, to a public GitHub repository,
someone else finds it, plugs it into their system, and starts training their own massive model on your dime.
And you wake up to a $5,000 bill.
Or more. So the .env file stays on your computer. It never, ever leaves. It's the vault. The source highlights this because it's the #1 mistake beginners make.
Okay, safety first. And before we start actually building, there's one last file, a secret weapon file mentioned, agents.mmd, or a system prompt file. What's this do?
This is like the employee handbook that the agent memorizes instantly. Every single time you start a new chat in Cursor, this file gets secretly injected into the context behind the scenes.
And what does it say?
That tells the agent the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You are an expert architect. You follow the DO framework. You never hallucinate code. You always test it first. Your goal is to be reliable.
So you don't have to repeat yourself every single time you start a new task.
Exactly. It stops the AI from spiraling into weird creative tangents.
Yeah.
It anchors the model in your methodology.
So we are set up. We've got the cockpit. We have the rules. Days 3 and 4 are for practicing this framework, just asking the agent to write a simple hello world script, getting comfortable. But let's skip to the money. Day 5, we need to build something real.
Yes.
And the source calls this the hello world of making money.
Lead scraping.
I have to be honest, lead scraping sounds a little bit, 2010. Isn't this just a fancy word for spam?
If you do it poorly, it's absolutely spam. If you do it well, it's market intelligence.
Okay.
Look, every single B2B business on earth has one core problem. They need more customers. And finding those customers is tedious. You have to go to Google Maps, to LinkedIn, to Yellow Pages, check websites. It takes hours and hours of manual work.
So businesses will pay to make that pain go away.
Every single time. But here's the differentiator. The source is very clear on this. You are not just selling a raw list of names. You are selling a verified pipeline.
Walk me through that workflow. How does an agent do this better than me just, buying a list from some data broker?
Right. Okay, so day 5, you build a scrape leads directive. You tell your agent, in plain English, I want to find HVAC companies in Austin, Texas.
Right.
The agent writes a script using something like the Google Places API. It pulls, say, 500 companies. A normal dumb scraper stops there.
It just gives you a CSV file with 500 names and maybe a website.
Right. But 30% of those businesses might be closed. 20% might not have websites that work. The Agentic workflow goes a step further.
Oh.
It visits every single one of those 500 websites. It checks. Is the site live? Does it look like a real business, or is it a dead link? It finds the Contact Us page. It extracts the email. You can even check if the email address is valid by pinging the server.
So it's cleaning the data before I even see it.
It's filtering all the noise out.
Mm.
The source even mentions a workflow where the agent checks if the company has a specific decision maker, like a head of marketing, listed on their team page. If they don't, it just discards the lead.
That's huge. So when you deliver this to a client, you aren't saying, here's a list. You're saying, here are 50 companies that I know are active, that I know are relevant, and they have the right contact information.
Exactly. And this is key. You are positioning yourself as an automation specialist.
Mm.
You do not say to a client, I will write you a Python script. You say, I will deliver 100 verified leads to your inbox every Monday morning. You sell the result, not the tool that gets you there.
That brings us to the end of week 1. We've got a workspace, we understand the DO framework directive, orchestration, execution, and we have a basic lead scraper that works. I feel like we've built the engine, but we haven't put any gas in it yet.
The gas is clients, and that is exactly what week 2 is all about.
Week 2, days 8 through 14, volume and the first gig. This is where the rubber meets the road. You have this tool, now you have to use it to get paid. And the source suggests a strategy called eating your own dog food.
It's a classic tech phrase. It just means use your own product. If you built a lead scraper, what's the first thing you should do with it?
Use it to scrape leads for yourself.
Exactly.
So day 8 through 10, the roadmap says to build an Upwork scraper. Why Upwork? Isn't that platform just a race to the bottom on price?
It can be, for sure. But it's also the highest volume marketplace for, I have a problem, solve it for me right now. The issue with Upwork for most freelancers is that staying on top of the job feed is a full-time job in itself.
You just have to sit there hitting refresh all day.
Which is a very low-value use of a human's time.
Right.
So you build a directive, go to Upwork, look for jobs with keywords like AI automation, lead gen, data entry, web scraping. The agent runs this for you every hour. It filters out all the low-budget junk. It just brings you the gold.
But finding the job is only half the battle. You still have to apply. And writing proposals is, well, it sucks.
It's the worst part. And this is where the outreach machine comes in. The source details an Upwork scrape apply system. The agent finds the job, it reads the job description, and then, this is the magic part, it generates a personalized proposal for you.
Now, we have to be careful here. Automated proposals usually sound, well, they sound automated. Dear Sir Madame, I am good at job.
Right. I do the needful. No, we are not doing that. This is where the agentic reasoning part comes in. You tell the agent in your directive, read the job post, identify the client's specific pain point, reference that specific pain point in the very first sentence of the proposal.
So if the client's post says, we are looking for someone to scrape dentist leads in Florida.
The agent's proposal starts with, I can build you a custom workflow to scrape dentist leads specifically in Florida, and I'll verify each one against Google Maps to ensure they are active practices.
It proves you actually read the post.
It passes the Turing test of proposals.
And you are still the human in the loop, right? You're not just blindly sending these.
Always. You review the draft, you make a small tweak, you hit send. But all the heavy lifting, the searching, the filtering, the drafting is done. You can send 20 high-quality personalized proposals a day with the effort it used to take to send one.
The roadmap here says 5 proposals per day minimum. That's the target for these days.
That's the target. Volume is quality's best friend. If you send 5 truly personalized, high-value proposals every single day, you will get a bite. It's just a numbers game at that point.
Okay, let's say you get a bite. Someone replies, hey, this sounds great. Can we hop on a quick call? Day 11 and 12 are all about that intro call. And the source makes a really interesting point here that most freelancers just scramble. They get on the call with 0 preparation.
They wing it. And it shows. The agentic approach is to completely dominate the information game before you even say hello.
How do you do that?
Before the call, you run a discovery workflow. You take the client's website URL, you feed it to your agent, and you say, summarize this business for me. Find me 3 potential operational bottlenecks. Find their top 3 competitors.
So you get on the call, and you might know more about their market position than they do.
You look like a genius. You can say things like, I noticed your website doesn't have a clear lead capture form on the homepage. Or, I see you're targeting this demographic, but your main competitor is doing X. You immediately frame yourself as a strategic consultant, not just a task rabbit.
And then comes the closer, the proposal generator. This part of the source material actually blew my mind because it's such a simple, powerful flex.
It is the ultimate power move. You're on the Zoom call with the client. You're recording it. using a tool like Fireflies or Otter.ai. As soon as you hang up, you take that call transcript.
Then you feed it to your agent.
You feed it right into your agent with a new directive.
And what's the directive?
Take this transcript. Identify the client's core problem, the specific solution I proposed, and the price we discussed. Now, generate a professional PDF proposal summarizing all of that.
And it does that in seconds.
In seconds. While the client is still getting a coffee after the call, your perfectly formatted proposal lands in their inbox. As we discussed, here's the plan. Price, $500. Click here to approve.
Speed wins deals.
Speed implies competence. If you're that fast and professional with the paperwork, they assume you'll be that fast and professional with the actual work.
I love that. Okay, so we land the gig, day 13 and 14. Now we have to actually do the work. Let's say the job is scrape 200 HVAC companies in Texas. The trap here, according to the source, is falling back into your old habits.
The panic spiral. You get the job, and suddenly you get scared the bot will fail. So you think, you know what, I'll just do it manually this one time to be safe. Or, worse, you try to write the Python script yourself, line by painful line.
Don't be a hero.
Don't be a hero, be a manager. We rely on the build, test, optimize loop. The source has a great name for this. Self-annealing.
Annealing. That's a term for metallurgy, right? You heat up metal to remove defects and make it stronger?
Exactly. And in code, it works just like this. You tell the agent, write a script to scrape Google Maps for HVAC companies in Texas. The agent writes it. The agent runs it. It crashes.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. Maybe Google changed the class name on their website, or you hit an API rate limit. Usually this is where a beginner quits. The AI is broken. It doesn't work.
Right.
But the self-annealing agent doesn't quit. It reads the error message. It says, I see a timeout error. I need to add a 5-second pause between requests. So it rewrites its own code.
And runs it again?
And runs it again.
It errors again?
Well, maybe for a different reason. It reads the new error. It rewrites the code again. It loops.
It's healing itself.
It heals itself until it works. Your job is not to write the code. Your job is to nudge the ship. If it gets really stuck, you say, try using a different scraping library, or try searching for this keyword instead. You are the captain, not the oarsman.
And that persistence, that loop, is what separates the people who make $0 from the people who make their first 1,000.
100%. It's the whole game.
Okay, that brings us into week 3, days 15 through 21. This section is called Delivery and Expansion. We have the data. The script finally ran successfully, but the source warns us, do not just email the raw CSV file.
Never. That is amateur hour.
So what do?
We need quality control. Day 15 to 17 introduces the concept of the reviewer agent.
So this is a second agent, a different one.
It can just be a second instance of the same model. You spin up a new chat. Its only job is to critique the work of the first agent. You tell it, here is the CSV file that Agent 1 generated. Your job is to check it for duplicates. Check for missing emails. Check for any weird formatting issues.
It's the editor to the writer.
Precisely. It's an automated QA step. This drastically reduces your error rate. If you send a client a list that's full of duplicates, you look sloppy. If your agent catches it first, you look polished and professional.
And then enrichment, this seems to be the value add that really justifies the price tag.
This is critical. This is how you go from a $100 gig to a $500 gig.
Right.
The client asked for a list of company names. You give them the names, plus the CEO's name, plus the CEO's LinkedIn profile, plus their verified corporate email address.
How are you getting that extra data?
You use enrichment tools like Anymail Finder or Clearbit, and you integrate them via something the source calls MCP, or Model Context Protocol.
MCP, another acronym. Give us the simple version.
Think of it like a universal USB port for AI models. It's a standardized way that allows Claude or GPT to plug into external tools like an email finding database or your company's CRM and talk to them.
So the agent isn't just guessing email formats like first.last@company.com.
No, it's querying a professional database through this MCP connection to find the real verified email. It's much more accurate.
And suddenly your $200 scraping gig looks like a $1,000 strategic lead generation package.
That's exactly it. You always over-deliver on the data.
Now, day 18 and 19 are about building the library. The source calls this asset accumulation.
And this is where that wealth transfer concept from the beginning really starts to click into place.
Well, so?
Every single time you build a directive and its associated execution scripts, a Google Maps scraper, a proposal generator, a LinkedIn enricher, you're building a permanent, reusable asset.
Because you can use them again for the next client.
Exactly. If you build a scraper for an HVAC client today, and tomorrow a dentist client calls you with the same request for their industry. How long does it take you to do the work?
Minutes. You just change the keyword in the directive from HVAC to dentist?
Zero marginal cost of replication. You have already done the hard engineering work. Now you are just printing results.
And you start to chain these things together.
Yes. You build what the source calls an umbrella directive. You create a master workflow that chains these individual tasks. Step 1, scrape leads. Step 2, enrich emails. Step 3, generate personalized first lines. Step 4, send all of that data to the client's CRM.
That's not a task anymore. That's a product.
It's a productized service.
And to wrap up week 3, days 20 and 21, we have the wow factor.
Visuals. Don't just send a spreadsheet. The source mentions a slide deck creation workflow. Instead of sending that CSV, you send a dashboard or a polished PDX summary. Here are the 200 leads we found, broken down by city, with the projected revenue potential based on their size. The agent can generate this using Python libraries like Matplotlib, or even by creating a PowerPoint file from scratch.
And the client's reaction is?
The client's reaction is, wow, I didn't just hire a freelancer to pull a list. I hired a system. I hired a consultant. It completely reframes your value.
That takes us to the home stretch. Week 4, days 22 through 30, scale and the cloud.
Right. Up until this point, everything we've built has been running on your laptop.
Which means if I close my laptop lid,
The business stops. That's not scalable. That's a job, not a business.
so we need to cloudify.
We need to cloudify.
Yeah.
Days 22 to 25 are about moving the execution scripts to the cloud. The source recommends looking at tools like modal.com or trigger.dev.
Now this sounds technical again. Deploying to the cloud. I can feel the fear returning for some people.
It sounds technical, but remember the DO framework. You don't deploy the agent. You're only deploying the execution script, the simple, deterministic Python file.
And I'm not doing that myself.
No. You tell the agent, take this Python scraper you wrote for me and write the necessary configuration to deploy it to Modal. The agent handles the deployment code.
And once it's on a platform like Modal, what does that enable?
It means it lives on a server somewhere. It doesn't need your laptop to run. It can run on a schedule.
Yeah.
Run the scraper every Monday at 9 a.m. Or, even more powerfully, it can run based on a specific trigger, a webhook.
Okay, explain webhooks as simply as you possibly can.
A webhook is just a special URL, a web address. When something happens somewhere else on the internet, say someone fills out a type form on your website, that service can ping your special URL.
And that ping.
That ping wakes up your agent in the cloud, and it does its work.
So I could have a type form on my website that says, get your free website audit. And when a potential client clicks submit, that ping wakes up the agent.
Which then scrapes their site.
Generates a report.
And emails it to them automatically.
Oh, while I'm sleeping.
While you are sleeping. That is the literal definition of scale. That is how you finally break the link between your time and your money.
And this leads directly to the final pivot in the playbook. Days 26 to 28, pitching retainers.
This is where you make the real money. You have to stop selling one-off scrapes. You start selling the growth engine.
Right.
The source gives this great example of a dental marketing agency that's making $2 million a year. They were selling a brand new custom tool every week. They were just automating their clients' existing SOPs.
So the pitch changes. It's no longer, I'll get you a list for $500. It's what?
The pitch becomes, I will build and maintain an automated system for you. It will scrape new leads every single Monday, enrich them with contact info, and push them directly into your CRM. You don't have to do anything. You just wake up and close the deals. For me to host and maintain that engine for you, it's $1,000 a month.
That is a very, very different conversation.
It's a transition from project-based work to recurring revenue. They are paying for reliability. They are paying for an agentic employee that you host and manage. You basically become the landlord of the bot.
Finally, days 29 and 30, optimization. The source has a really specific rule here, which I like. It calls it the 10x rule.
This is so important. It's designed to stop you from tinkering forever. Engineers and people who think like engineers love to optimize. Oh, I can probably make this code run 5% faster if I just spend another day on it.
Right.
The source says, stop, do not do that.
Right.
Only optimize a workflow if it creates an order of magnitude improvement, a 10x improvement.
10 times faster, 10 times cheaper, or 10 times more accurate.
Exactly. If it doesn't hit that 10x bar, it is good enough. Move on. Go sell it to another client.
And the last concept here is parallelization.
This is the power of the cloud. If you need to test 5 different cold email subject lines to see which one works best, don't run them one by one over 5 weeks.
What do you do?
You spin up 5 agents at once, have them all draft different versions, and run the campaign simultaneously. After a day, you see which one got the best open rate. You keep the winner and discard the rest. You can test and iterate incredibly fast.
So let's just recap the whole 30-day journey. We started with a terrifying blank screen in VS Code, or preferably cursor. We set up our DO framework directive, orchestration, execution. We built a lead scraper. We used that scraper to find our own clients on Upwork. We then used agents to write proposals and prep for the sales calls.
Right.
We delivered verified, enriched data, not just a raw list. We moved the scripts to the cloud so they can run while we sleep. And we converted that one-off gig into a recurring monthly retainer.
That is the playbook. From zero to your first $1,000, and from there, the foundation to scale to much, much more.
And to be really clear on the money part, the source says, start small. Take that $200 gig. Take the $500 gig.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do not hold out for a $10,000 contract on day one. That's a huge mistake. You need the reps. You need to build your asset library. Take the small, easy gigs to finance your learning and build your portfolio. Once you have 5 successful deployments under your belt, then you can start raising your prices.
What's just fascinating to me is that the technology cost for all of this. The source mentions it's literally pennies.
It's negligible. The execution scripts running on a platform like Modal cost cents.
Huh?
The API calls to Claude or GPT-4o are incredibly cheap for these kinds of tasks. The barrier isn't money.
The barrier is knowledge.
The barrier is the knowledge and the willingness to sit in that cockpit and just learn how to fly the thing.
It's the AI overhang. It's just that gap between what is actually possible today and what people are actually doing.
And that window will not stay open forever. Eventually, everyone will know how to do this. Or the big software companies, your Salesforces, your HubSpots, they'll just bake this functionality directly into their products. But right now, for the next year or two, it is the Wild West. And the gold is just sitting there on the ground.
The source material was incredibly dense, but the path feels really clear. It's not about waiting for some magical AGI to arrive. It's about using the dumb, reliable tools we have today.
Structured with the DO framework.
To solve boring business problems.
Boring problems pay the best bills. You should remember that.
And with that, I think we've reached the end of the playbook.
Indeed. It's all there.
That's the money series. You have the tools, the workflows, and the playbook. The only thing left is execution. Go get paid.